what I have today, brought to me by Spelab, is this intake manifold for a 4th gen RAM. This will give you a substantial amount more airflow than your factory intake manifold will supply. The factory one is fairly restrictive. It does not come up nearly as high, and it kind of angles quicker. There is a port here that you can add a heater element to. That way, whenever you want to do a grid heater delete, which Spelab also has and they have sent, this gets rid of your factory grid heater. Therefore, it gets rid of the little bolt that people have complications with falling into the engine compartment. And so you can add this new heating element here so that you can still cold start in areas that are very cold. We also have this that gets rid of that little lever actuator that goes on the bottom of your intake manifold. This just gets rid of that straight through. It doesn't have that little actuator in there. We also have a block-off plate that will be going on there. The plan with this is I will be prepping this. I am going to be sanding it with a few different grits of sandpaper, getting it fairly smooth, and then I will clean it off, and I will be painting it with this One Hit Wonder paint that is an adhesion promoter, primer, and base coat all in one. On the website, they claim this can go on to engine bay, in the engine bay, on items that can go up to 450 degrees. They also say that this can be used on turbos, just not the hot side of the turbo. So the intake manifold should be just fine with this. I will also be, from Tropical Glitz, adding some key lime pie metal flake on top of that. Once that is all done, I will be clearing that with this 2K clear. And then we will be installing it all except for the grid heater delete. That will be later in another video and its own separate thing. But let's go ahead and start getting this prepped. First things first, we will have to start sanding. All right, I took a lot of time sanding this. Can't really tell by looking at it, but it is a lot smoother. So it should be good for paint. I'm now gonna blow everything off because I got a bunch of particles everywhere and dust. I'm gonna go ahead and blow everything down. And then we'll give everything a good wipe down and clean with this grease and wax remover. Then I'm going to tape up everything that I don't want paint to go. So I'm going to go around a lot of the, like this block off area, a lot of the ports, a lot of the bolt areas. And I'm just going to kind of do a circle around a lot of them. And in some areas like this, block off the entire area and just leave it silver. So the next thing that you see should be once I have everything blown off and wiped down. All right, everything's been blown off and everything's been wiped down. Now I am going to start masking everything off. And once I have everything masked off, I will come back and start shooting some more. We've finished taping off our intake manifold. I'm going to double check over the tape, give it a quick wipe down with our wax and grease remover, and lay our first layer of paint. All right, we're gonna do a couple quick light coats. Give this a couple minutes to tack dry, and then we'll do a few more coats. Coat number 2. This had a little bit of time to dry. I'm going to add some of this key lime pie metal flake by Tropical Glitz and see what that looks like. This is now dried for a while. We're going to go ahead and put some 2K clear on this. had a little bit of time to cure now. I've let it sit for probably over 72 hours. I think I've had it sit for, at least 84. It should be fully hardened now. I've kind of got it partially together and ready to go in. We've lost daylight, so I can't really show what it looks like in the daylight, but you can see it's pretty metallic-y. I did sand and polish the block-off plate, so it has a nice shine to it. It's a little dirty right now, so you can see some marks and whatnot in it. This is going to be the end of this video. Now that everything is assembled on this, stay tuned for the next video. We're going to work on putting this in the truck, and I'll go through kind of a step-by-step process of how that goes in, or I might kind of do a montage. We'll see how it turns out. But if you like this content, feel free to like it and subscribe if you want to see more. I plan to do a lot more to the truck. Now that I have this painted, we'll see if anybody else wants to see some more parts painted, or if you want to see any more parts from Spelab. They have more parts besides just this intake horn. They have the rest of the charge pipe, intercooler, you name it. They pretty much have, if you have a Cummins or any other truck, Power Stroke, Duramax, they have tons of parts. I have a code, James15, if you want to get 15% off anything on Spelab. I will be linking this intake horn specifically in the description. I'll also put my discount code in there. If you use any of my links, it helps me out. I get a small kickback off of that. But yeah, if you decide you want to get anything off of there, even if you don't want to use my code, you can still use or my links. You can use my code James15 and get 15% off. If you've been thinking about getting one of these, it's a good upgrade. It gives you a lot more CFM than the factory one. There's a lot of other options out there, but not all of them have the built-in spot for your heater element, especially if you want to do the grid heater delete. I think it's really beneficial if you live in an area that, gets close to 0 degrees Fahrenheit. It's just nice having something to help the truck start a little bit better. They sent some other parts as well. I'll get into those when I get to working on the truck. The box, when you get the intake horn, it doesn't just come with the intake horn. It comes with a few other parts. Comes with this baggie full of connector extensions and everything. And I will go over all of those in the installation video. All right, again, if you like it, if you want to see any more videos like this, or you want to follow along on the journey on this, or recommend anything else you want me to do on my truck, I'll continue to make more videos. All right, later.